What a lot of people probably won't know is 4 of the 5 of this group were accumulation of 15 wins in 2 seasons. The year before, in 2010, we had won 8 tournaments, and then to go on in 2011 and win 7 tournaments. So that's unheard of. I don't think that'll happen again, especially that 11 season. Leaders for that team, I think it's very hard to pick one. Obviously Matt, winning those 5 tournaments, I think people would assume that he was our #1 player, and usually the #1 player is your captain or your older, senior player, and Matt was a senior that year. But if you look back through results, I think we had 4 different players win golf tournaments that year. And looking back in the stats as well, I think we had 19 top 5 finishes by that entire squad. And not all of them, not all the 5 guys that ended the season at Nationals. There was a couple other guys that were pushing to get in our lineup, or that were in that lineup at some point throughout the year, that won golf tournaments and had top 5 finishes. So team was very, very deep. Our home tournament, our #1 team finished first. Our #2 team finished second. So I think that's something that says a lot about this team, how deep they were, how much they pushed each other. That's what made this team so good, was the fact that we could have had anyone in that lineup and we would have been just as strong. Everybody pushed each other to make each other better, and I think that's the great thing about that team. A lot of other teams expect your 1 and 2 player to obviously compete to win titles, but when you have your 5, 6, 7 players competing to win titles and winning them, I mean, it just boggles my mind when I think back about that. That doesn't happen with a lot of teams. I think most teams, you expect your leaders and your #1 and 2 guys to contend for titles, but to have as many as we had, this team just every week in and week out, people expected them to win, and they did a lot. They won a lot. As a coach, you wish you could have that every year. One thing I talk a lot about in recruiting is the family atmosphere that is created. This group has stayed very close to one another. They continue to talk to each other. Several of them live very close together. And the legacy I think they left is that family that's continued to evolve here at Central Missouri. Those guys all continue to support our team year in and year out, always are there for our fundraiser and come back, contacting our guys, wishing them well, congratulating them on how they do. So they're all staying very involved with our program. And obviously, when you go back to their playing ability, I mean, it's second to none, really, as far as the accomplishments they made with the wins that they had and the individual wins, and then finishing 3rd at the national championship. That's one that Coach wishes we could do every year. So I think they leave a strong legacy, and a legacy that our new guys, young guys, look up to for sure.